because pheromones never affect me. I stayed the lead alpha secretary for 5 years. Everyone called me an exception, but I knew it was only because the story's true lead, his Omega, had not appeared yet. When that Omega appeared, I resigned and fled the city. But on my 3rd day back home, the lead alpha came for me. Lost in his rut, he snapped, locked me in the attic, but he ignored my struggle, leaving bite marks on my neck. He whispered, "Baby, do you know? Disobedient betas get bullied into Omega." His breathy voice lingered over the phone, making my ears strangely tingle. I shook it off. "Mr. Pei, are you okay? Do you need pay? Cut me off? TI Hotel Room, 2203. Bring the suppressant." As a male beta, I had rough days every month. My boss had lived like a monk for 5 straight years, so it was worse for him. "I understand. I'll be there in 10 minutes. After hanging up, I grabbed the emergency suppressant, put it in my bag, and rushed to the parking lot. At room 2203, my eyelids suddenly twitched. Before I could react, the door flew open, and a burning hand pulled me inside. The room was pitch black. Only a dying cigarette nearby glowed faintly red. I stepped back, but the next second, his grip tightened around my wrist. I stumbled straight into Pei's arms. That was bad enough, but why did my face land right against his? I jolted and tried to jump away, but after struggling, I only moved an inch. Looking down, I saw both hands locked around my waist, burning hot. I remembered Pei was still in his rut. Fever was a common symptom. At this temperature, he was nearly delirious. I took out the suppressant. "Mr. Pei, should I inject it for you?" In the dark, I couldn't read his face. Instead, he spun me around, and I stared blankly at where I landed. Before I could ask, a sharp pain hit the back of my neck. Damn, he mistook me for an Omega. But I was only a background beta. I refused to become the obstacle between him and the lead Omega. I struggled without hesitation, but his arm around my waist did not move. Panicking, I said, "Mr. Pei, look carefully. I'm Yuan Yang, a beta, not your Omega." The pain at my neck stopped, and his hand suddenly released me. Pei sounded oddly hurt. "Sorry. My rut made me lose control. Give me the suppressant." I handed it over. I was about to offer help with the injection, but he spoke first. "Yuan Yang, help me once more." Most of his shirt buttons were torn open. Only the bottom 2 were still barely doing their job. His sharply defined abs made me look away. Alphas were trouble. I took a breath. "Mr. Pei, what else do you need?" Pei opened his arms. "Can I have a hug? I have no Omega nearby, and I still need to inject myself. Can I at least get some comfort?" The 6'3" man slumped, head lowered at the bedside, like an abandoned big dog. It matched what biology class taught. Alphas became emotionally fragile in rut. But alphas could not be trusted, especially since Pei's destined Omega was about to appear. "I'll pay you an extra month's salary." Tempted, I still refused. "Mr. Pei, that's inappropriate." Seeing that, I had an idea. He silently rolled up his sleeve, revealing the veins on his arm. "Fine." I sighed, opened the suppressant, disinfected the skin, and injected it. After cleaning everything up, I asked, "Mr. Pei, should I call your driver?" Pei always spent his ruts at home. That had never changed in 5 years. I expected him to agree, but he shook his head. "No, I'll stay here." My instinct said something was off, but it was not my place to pry. I nodded. "I'll order your meals. I'll report any urgent work." Then I turned to leave. He grabbed me. "Leave your jacket." Avoiding my eyes, he said, "My shirt is torn. I have a meeting later. Your jacket can cover it." At 2 that afternoon, an urgent call was set, and Pei had to attend. I left my jacket behind. "Mr. Pei, I'll return to the office." He gave a quiet reply, and I hurried away. But in the hotel lobby, I realized the problem. Alphas were larger than betas, and Pei was much taller than me. If he discovered that during the meeting and embarrassed himself before the partners, my excellent benefits and 6-figure salary would be gone. I turned around and headed to the nearest mall. I quickly bought an entire suit with his expense card. Before leaving the mall, I noticed a plush toy shop. Its sign was direct. It sold toys for Omegas during nesting periods. I thought of Pei, who had looked so lonely and wanted an Omega's comfort. By the time I came to my senses, I was holding a pink scarf rabbit. It was soft, almost like a real Omega. I truly knew how to please my boss. At room 2203 again, before I could knock, the door opened halfway. Before I could wonder how he knew it was me, he asked, "Why did you come back?" His voice was hoarse, with a faint hidden tension. I handed over the suit and toy. "Mr. Pei," I remembered, "we're different sizes, so I bought you a new set. As for this toy, the store gave it free." Pei took the suit and set it on the table, then tossed the toy onto the bed. When he turned and approached me again, I finally saw the problem. Earlier, he had looked barely presentable. Now, his clothes were completely disheveled, and a distinct scent hung in the air. This was far too intimate. I stepped back and looked away. "Mr. Pei, please return my jacket. If there's nothing else, I'll leave." He answered quickly. "It got sweaty. I'll wash it before returning it." There's nothing else. Go home. I had no chance to ask more. I only glimpsed my jacket on the sofa, its collar marked with dried white stains. My face burned. What am I imagining? Fortunately, the suppressant worked perfectly. On the video call, Pei showed no sign of trouble. Before I could rest, Pei called again. You worked hard today. Take 3 paid days off. I wanted to run home immediately, but politely said, Mr. Pei, the resort project. There are issues with the resort. Leave it for now. When you brought the suppressant today, your lips were pale. Rest well and behave. When you return, I'll add a month's salary. The call ended. Why did his voice feel electric? A sudden spike of pain stole my attention. I rubbed my temples and went home. After 3 days of rest, my symptoms finally faded, and I returned to work. But as I reached the pantry, a coworker stopped me. Yuan Yang, I heard Mr. Pei spent this rut with an Amiga at the hotel. My heart sank. I fought the urge to ask, but my mind connected it with his unusual choice this time. Had the lead Omega already appeared? I lowered my gaze. That's Mr. Pei's private life. My coworker grew excited, leaned closer, and whispered, we all thought Mr. Pei would end up with you. I snapped my head up at him. Watch your words. We're only boss and employee. Ever since I found that notebook, recording this beautiful Alpha-Omega romance, I had sworn never to become the obstacle between them. I was about to explain more, but my coworker pinched his nose and stepped back. Behind me came Pei's deep voice. Yuan Yang, come to my office. I grabbed the coffee and followed him. Pei tapped the documents before him. Collect the trainee recruitment files. Report back in 1 hour. Pei usually handled only major strategy and rarely touched HR matters. But the boss had spoken, so I could only obey. Half an hour later, I sorted and printed the resumes and brought them to him. He looked at each for barely 2 seconds, only enough to read names. But weren't resumes meant to show a candidate's education and skills? Pei pulled one resume from the stack and handed it to me. Tell him to start tomorrow. He'll be an executive office assistant. Train him yourself. I looked down at the resume. Lucas, an Omega, graduate of Vigo University. I had always known Pei's destined Omega would appear soon. But once it truly happened, I felt lost. I was surely only reluctant to lose my salary and kind boss. I suppressed my feelings and called. Hello, is this Lucas? Congratulations. You've been hired. Please arrive at PA Group headquarters at 9 AM tomorrow and contact me from, a gentle voice answered. Alright, thank you. A coworker's knock brought me back. My nails had already broken the skin. At 9 next morning, Lucas arrived on time. Following procedure, I took him to HR to register. As soon as we entered, Manager Liu stopped us. With a teasing look, he leaned close. Hey, I heard you spent all 3 days with the boss. Why didn't you tell us? Behind me, Lucas said, Manager Leo, hello, I'm Lucas, the new employee. Lucas's smile, which had been warm since we met, vanished, and his eyes darkened. Was the plot forcing me to become cannon fodder for their romance? I raised my voice. You've misunderstood. Mr. Pei did not spend his rut with me. Besides, Mr. Pei has always liked him. At that, Lucas's expression became even stranger. My mistake. Forget I said anything. Lucas, right, come register. The process went smoothly. I took Lucas to the executive office and showed him the work and assigned his desk. Then the internal phone rang. Bring Lucas to my office. I replied yes, Mr. Pei. The moment we entered, he gestured at me. You may leave. I nodded and returned to my seat. For the first time, the numbers on my phone's clock seemed to move painfully slowly, but reality had to be faced. I sighed, cleared my thoughts, and buried myself in work. After some time, Pei appeared with Lucas. His long hand offered me the car keys. Lucas is important to me. My fingers tightened around the keys, knuckles turning white. Understood. He continued. Take my car and drive Lucas home. Alright. I prepared to leave with Lucas, but froze when he gave his address. Lucas lived next door to P. Yuan, are you listening? Let's go. Lucas unbuckled his seatbelt. Thanks, Yuan. Would you like to come in for tea? Maybe the heat had scrambled my mind, because I unexpectedly said, sure. Lucas seated me on the sofa and went to make tea. My stained suit, from 3 days ago, hung on the balcony, swaying alone in the wind. The pink scarf rabbit lay on a cabinet nearby. The pain forced my mind to race. Maybe they were only identical items. I must have mistaken them. But every excuse vanished when Lucas explained. He asked me to return the clothes to you. Who he meant was obvious. I stiffly took the suit and left. My fingers brushed the mark on the collar, then lifted it to my nose. I had smelled it on Lucas before, sweet and lingering, like cherry wine. Unlike a beta, even carefully chosen perfume could not hide our natural scentlessness. I gave a bitter laugh. Since learning the plot, I had buried my feelings for PE and never crossed the line. I thought I could endure until he found happiness. But now one jacket and one scent had shattered me. I stared blankly ahead until the phone rang. Are you home? It was PE, I replied. Mr. PE, is there more work? I can return to the office now. He said, no. I called to tell you, Lucas will join me this weekend for the Wu Resort talks. You should rest. I blinked back tears and answered, understood. I turned off the screen and tossed the suit into the trash. Maybe it was time to leave. Pei added Lucas to the project group chat. Everyone, transfer the resort files to Lucas as soon as possible. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. In the end, I typed only, okay. Before I could organize the files, my coworker Sue messaged, Yuan, what does Mr. Pei mean? Haven't you always handled the resort? Why give it to Lucas now? He just arrived. Who gets the final bonus? This is ruthless. Reading his angry messages, bitterness swallowed me whole. Even Sue, whom I had recruited and trained for 2 years, knew what such a handover meant. I lowered my eyes and wiped the screen, then replied, enough, delete them, follow Mr. Pei's orders. I silently tossed my phone aside, packed the project files on my computer, sent them, then wrote my resignation, but I did not submit it yet. If I resigned now, Pei would question me. It was better to wait until he was too busy to pay attention. For the next 4 days, I worked as usual. The only thing I could not get used to was seeing Lucas every morning step out of Pei's passenger seat. Fortunately, apartment hunting and moving plans kept me distracted. On Friday afternoon, Pei called me into his office alone. I heard the rumors downstairs. Yuan Yang, don't overthink it. You won't lose any bonus. I brought Lucas for another reason. I nodded. You worry too much, Mr. Pei. It's all for the company. Seeing my calm reaction, Pei frowned and explained repeatedly, you'll always matter most to me. No one can replace you. I smiled and agreed without listening. No matter how beautifully he spoke, I knew he had already made his choice. Once it happened, it would happen again. An Omega's pull was irresistible. A Beta could never compete. I gave Pei one final, deep look. When I left the building, it was already dark. But nothing could stop me from leaving the city that night and returning home. On the train, I blocked everyone, then counted my savings. Not bad. With only the interest, I could live on interest for 3 years. At 1 in the morning, I finally reached my hometown. I barely cleaned the bedroom before collapsing into sleep, but I slept badly. Alternating chills and heat left me drenched in sweat. Dizzy, I stumbled over. Through the peephole, I saw a drunken salesman Alpha holding a bottle. You're the new neighbor. You smell so good. Then he knocked again. A faint fragrance brushed my nose. I frowned and shouted, stop, or I'll call police. The drunken Alpha staggered upstairs. A bad feeling rose in my chest. Sure enough, I ran into him 3 times that day. Uneasy, I contacted an agent and bought a safe apartment downtown. I could move in after 1 week. But the purchase devoured most of my savings. I sighed. I couldn't live off savings forever, but office slavery was not what I wanted either. After much thought, I chose the cheapest option, creating online content. Cat videos were trending, so I decided to use that format to record my 9-year crush on PE since college. Once decided, I wrote the script from memory. A senior buried in exam preparation had no time for a second-year student near the bottom of the class. By chance, I became deeply grateful to him. It was the second summer after my parents died in a crash. Teachers, classmates, and relatives took turns counseling me. Your parents are gone. You must work even harder. I know you're hurting, but this is a crucial time. Stop thinking about your parents. Focus on your grades first. Gradually, my pain and struggle became pointless. Drama in their eyes. One day, by the exam results board, someone said openly, he's embarrassing his parents. Life still goes on. With grades like that, he's being ridiculous. Maybe he's only seeking attention. Before I could argue, a cold-faced handsome senior snapped, using someone else's pain as gossip.